Hey guys, it's me, and today I am back. Yes, I am back with a new video for you guys. I do have a video pre-recorded that I may or may not put out. Would you guys like to see a full EP reaction video for Tulip's latest EP, The Dark Tetrad? Let me know in the comments below and I'll post it. Now that that question is out of the way, hi, hello, how are we all diddly doing? It's been 85 years since I last posted on this channel. We all know why. Life has been lifing. I did do this makeup look that I'm wearing today for my beauty channel, so definitely go check out that channel if you are interested in seeing how I did this look and just learning a little bit more about like what's been going on with me recently. Today, I thought that it would be fun to just go down memory lane, and this is something that I might start doing a bit more regularly and everything. Let me know if you guys want me to do a bit of a series on this to a degree, and that is discussing my favorite music releases from previous years. And I thought that since we're approaching the end of 2025 that it would be appropriate to go back and look at my favorite music releases from 2015. This list is very interesting. So I actually did a video on this on my original Beauty, Fashion, and Lifestyle channel, because way back in those days, I used this particular channel strictly for vocal covers. That's all that I use this channel for, but I would still discuss music on the Beauty, Fashion, Lifestyle channel every so often. But here, I just only did vocal covers on this channel. Whereas now I do all sorts of kinds of music commentary. It's not just like covers that I do on here, it's like music video reactions, ranking videos, just anything that's music related and music commentary related. That is what I do here on this channel now. So I did kind of do this similarly to how I do my rankings now, where it's just like I have like a selection of releases that are in my rankings and then would show like the honorable mentions before I show my favorite release. But I also did things very differently back then, because I think for this particular rankings that I did, because I didn't have this written down, it was only in a video. And the video, you can't find the video, I unlisted it a long ass time ago. In this particular video, I had like the stuff that made it to my rankings, but the only one that was actually numbered were my #1 favorites. So I had a ranking for EPs and a ranking for albums. And for whatever reason, I have 6 EPs and 15 albums for the year 2015. Why? I don't know. I do not know. But we're going to discuss these and we're going to talk about these releases and whether or not I feel as if they have held up and I still believe that they belong on some sort of ranking list for me, or if they're releases that I have not thought of since then or in forever. And yeah, so like I said, this is a bit of a trip down memory lane, as well as just kind of reviewing and possibly even roasting my taste in music from way back then. Also, by the way, here's an image of how I looked back then. Like, I was 20. I was a baby. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started and dive on into this video. But before we do so, if you guys are new here to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. And also while you're down there, definitely give this video a thumbs up, because that'll help me out a lot. All my links are down in the description box below, which are the links to my Twitter, which I don't really ever use anymore, so follow me there at your own risk. My Instagram and my Beauty, Fashion, and Lifestyle channel, like I mentioned earlier. So definitely go check me out on those places if you're interested. And let's get started. Let's go ahead and start out by talking about the EPs. Like I said, this is weird because I have 6 here. I don't know why I had 6. I don't know. I didn't watch the video. I just simply compiled all the releases that I talked about. So yeah, like I said, leading up to the last one, the #1 pick, these are just in random order. The first one that I have here is Into a Dawn from Feridea? I don't know how this band's name was pronounced, but they were a symphonic power metal band from Finland. I don't even know if this band is still around. It was created by Katra Slumber. I think is her last name? I can't remember her last name. Her last name was very Finnish. But she is like the lead singer of a solo project called you guessed it, Catra. And I've known of her for a very, very long time. She actually released a new single under the project for Catra not too long ago, called, I think it was called Ever After, and it was great. It was great being able to hear her in that kind of vibe again, because this is very like symphonic power metal right here, whereas her stuff with like Catra is like very much like that era of like mid-2000s symphonic gothic metal bands where it wasn't like very dark and whatnot, but it had like a bit of an edge to it. But it wasn't fully power metal, but it also wasn't fully gothic metal, but it was definitely symphonic metal. I do not remember this release at all. And honestly, I completely forgot about this band. So that should tell you how I feel about it. Also, by the way, when it came to how I did this is gonna be a bit of a spoiler and everything. For some of these releases, especially for the full lengths, I probably didn't even listen to the album in its entirety, and I still put it on my rankings list because I enjoyed a few singles very, very much. And it was just like, oh, if I enjoy these, then I enjoy the full release. Whereas nowadays, I actually go in and listen to the full release over and over and over again to see if I really like the release. If I only like but a few songs off of a release, then it doesn't make it onto my rankings. I have to like the entire album as a whole, or majority of the album as a whole, and then have like multiple favorites off of it for it to make it onto my rankings. I'm much more in depth with it these days than I was back in 2015. I think I started making the transition into being more in depth with these rankings back in 2016, I think. So that was when things started to get a little bit more chaotic as well, because I started doing rankings and whatnot more seriously. And so the rankings become a lot more intense starting in 2016. The next EP that I have on the list was Fire and Ashes from Xandria. I still really enjoy the songs off of that EP. It was such a fun little EP, and the first set of music that they did with Diana, where the music was written for her, because Sacrificium was written before she joined the band. It very much shows in this particular release, and it's just a gorgeous little release. Like, it's got some original stuff. I think it's got 2 or 3 original tracks on it. 2 tracks that were reworked, like older stuff from Lisa's era of the band, and then there were 2 covers on it, and it was a very solid release. I really enjoyed it. The next release that we have here is called Altair from the Hardkiss. I love this EP. It is such a good EP. Some of the songs on the EP made it onto, I believe, wasn't it Perfection that some of the songs from Cold Altair made it onto? We all know that I love and enjoy the Hardkiss. They actually have a new single that came out a few weeks ago that I need to do a reaction to. But I'll be doing reaction videos probably tomorrow. Next up we have Melissa from FKA Twigs. Stunning EP. Stunning EP. I actually have been singing Class and Patron a lot recently for whatever reason. Yeah, that EP holds up tremendously to this day. Then we have Neon from Port Noir. Again, this EP still holds up tremendously to this day. I know that they kind of changed their sound a little bit and everything, and started going in a more modern rock and metal direction, but back in these days they were very much like progressive metal, progressive rock, a little bit of post-rock thrown into it. Very unique sound, very unique band. And that particular EP was really fun because the title track Neon is almost like it's a prog rock track that has a bit of an 80s spin on it too, a little bit, just ever so slightly. But then my favorite song off the EP, Heathens, oh my god, it is just so dark, very post-metal vibes going for it. 2 honorable mentions. We have Glass from Humavoid, which I don't remember this EP at all. I remember some stuff from this band, but I never really kept up with them after around this period of time. They're in a djenty, progressive, symphonic metal band. And then we have Blue from Oceans of Slumber, which was a cover EP that they put out. And I probably checked out this EP because towards the end of 2015 was when the music video for Winter came out, so I decided to check out some of their older stuff. Blue is the first release that Cami is on for the band, and this EP, it's nice, but in comparison to what they have done since then, it pales in comparison. My favorite EP for 2015 was Spellbound from Elvellon. Such a great EP, such a great EP. Most of the songs, all but one of the songs on that EP made it onto their debut album, Until Dawn, and it is just a really good EP. For a debut EP, it sounds really good. It sounds really good for a band, and I thoroughly loved and enjoyed it. And actually, they watched the video that I did for my rankings video for 2015, and they saw me talking about the release and everything, because I mentioned that like they had like their release show for it, which had like multiple songs that didn't make it onto the EP as part of the set list for that show. And I was like, why didn't King of Thieves make it onto the EP? I need that song in my life. Like, I know you guys are working on a full-length album right now, but I need that song in my life immediately. Well, one of the band members actually reached out to me on Facebook and sent me the demo for it. And still to this day, I am just so shocked that something like that happened. Like, I have bands and artists reaching out to me in my DMs, like, kind of sort of often already these days, especially with this channel now. Never had an artist before then and since then do something like that. Like, I still treasure that moment so deeply. I wish that I could find the file for it, because I don't think I have the actual file for the demo. It's on one of my old iPods, but I don't have the actual file for the demo anymore. It's a relic at this point, but yeah, that whole interaction meant so much to me growing up. Well, I say growing up, all those years ago, and still to this day means a lot to me, and it's part of the reason why I have such an intense soft spot for the band, aside from the fact that their music is just fucking brilliant. Okay, so now let's get into the albums. For this we have, like I mentioned, 15 albums, which all but one of them is in any particular order, and that is the #1 album, and then we have a bunch of honorable mentions. So yeah, let's go ahead and start out with number 15, which again, these are not in any particular order until we get to my favorite of the year. So first one that we have here is The Fountain of Eternal Life from Symphonic Destiny. This was a symphonic power metal band from Serbia. Good luck finding any of their stuff on the internet these days. Like, after they like split up and everything, they basically took everything down of theirs. Like, you can't find any of their music videos, you can barely find any of the songs on YouTube. Like, the title track of the album, The Fountain of Eternal Life, the only way you can listen to that song on YouTube is if you like play like a fan-made like Guitar Hero video, or because someone put the song in Guitar Hero and uploaded a video of like the playthrough for it. I somehow several years ago found a file for the album just on the internet, and I downloaded it, so I have all the music files for this album somewhere. I have it on my computer. I don't know if it's just only on my computer that I have it, but this album was so good. This album was so good because I listened to it after I had downloaded it. It's been a long time since I've listened to it, but I do go back and listen to the title track every so often, and because the title track is just magnificent. The writing could be a little bit better because it is just a little like generic when it comes to like the vocal lines and everything, because she follows like the beat of the guitars and whatnot, and just like the flow of the guitars with doing the vocal lines, which isn't the best thing in my opinion. You could have done a lot more with it, but at the same time, it's not that deep. The song is still so good. Like, it's a 15.5-minute long song, but it is just amazing from start to finish. Next up we have Sovran from Draconian, which is still my favorite album from them to this day. I love that album. I actually got to thinking about it recently, so I might have to take it for a spin soon and everything. Like, I just love the album. It's dreary, it's dark, it's sad, it's just full of raw emotion. It's just really fucking good. Next up we have Innuendo from Amberian Dawn. I don't remember this album. I do not remember this album. I know it was the album to follow Magic Forest, but I don't remember what was on this particular release. Because I know the album that followed Innuendo was really good. And then the albums that followed that particular album were not good. And I can't remember if it was that particular album that featured Fabiola on a song, or if it was this one. Yeah, after their ABBA album, like, I kind of, like, lost a little bit of faith in these guys, because that ABBA cover album, I wanted to love that so much, but it just missed the mark so badly. I am so sorry. It just did. It did. Next up, we have a release that I actually am like, yes, I love this. I love this so much. Take It Like a Man from Butcher Babies. This album was so fucking good. It's such a great release. I have a jewel case copy of it. I think I also have a digipack copy of Sovran, and I don't think I have any physical copies of the EPs that I showed. Yeah, no, I don't have any physical copies of the EPs. But yeah, this album, such a great release. Love the band so much. I am a bit curious about where they're gonna go now that Carla's no longer in the band, and I've almost been getting like a kind of vibe that like Carla's departure from the band wasn't really her decision. Like there might have been like a falling out between her and Heidi, because like Sincerity, that song coming out and everything, it just seems like I got questions about what's going on there. Obviously, we'll probably never find out, not for a very long time, but who knows? Who knows? But I am looking forward to seeing and hearing what Carla does with the Violet Hour. I'm really looking forward to hearing more stuff from them. Granted, I do wish that it would be much more along the lines of like Butcher Babies, where it's like more thrashy, because although Heidi has a really good voice, I always looked forward to hearing Carla in the music because her voice was way more intense. I've always had a really intense soft spot for Carla, though, so there's also that. And also, I've been keeping up with Butcher Babies for a very long time. I think I learned about them in 2011, I think. It was somewhere around the time when Mr. Slow Death first came out, so yeah, I've known of them for a very long time. When Stories Unfold by Illuminata. I actually listened to a few of the songs from this release a couple of years ago, and it's beautiful, really beautiful. I'll have to go back and actually listen to it as a whole again, but there's some really beautiful songs on this release. I will say this, I feel like this album and Innuendo, and possibly even The Fountain of Eternal Life, were all releases that I didn't listen to in their entirety. I'm almost certain that I didn't listen to them in their entirety. I could be wrong on that, but I don't really remember, because again, this was 10 years ago. But the songs that I do remember that really stick out to me are like gorgeous from this band, like really good, like symphonic metal band with some like gothic influences thrown into it, and just really good storytelling and production, and just a really solid sound. And now we get into the top 10 with Purple from Baroness. This isn't really the only release from them that I've actually have enjoyed. It's really tricky for me to get into a lot of their stuff because it just, sonically, it's very similar to everything and whatnot, and there's also not a whole lot going on with the production, but I did remember enjoying a lot of stuff from this album. Also, they're a band from the Atlanta area. I think they're technically from Savannah, but I know that they do a lot of stuff in Atlanta as well, so that's also a fun little thing, being somebody who lives in the metro Atlanta area and has done so their entire life. So yeah, but I remember really loving this release for whatever reason. Haven't listened to it in a very long time. I think I listened to Shock Me for the first time in a long time recently though, and that song still is just such a great song. Next up, we have The Lost Chapters from Dimlight. This album, I remember quite a good bit of this release. I don't remember it in its entirety, but I know I listened to it in its entirety because I was extremely excited about this release, because I really enjoyed this band during this time of my life. Like, I still enjoy a lot of their stuff now, but back then I was really into them. They're a very dark, a bit extreme symphonic metal band from Greece. And this particular release was their first album without Sana Samu. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. But this was their first album without her on doing like the female vocals. No, it also featured Maya, I can't remember her last name, but she did an album with Med and Agon, and she's also in another band that I cannot, the name of the band is escaping me. It's like something about chaos. But she's got a great voice. She does like choirs and whatnot on the release. But this is a really interesting release. It's got some really cool stuff on it. Really interesting vibes and tones throughout it. I really enjoyed it. Next up, we have an album that I know for a fact I did not listen to in its entirety, and that is the Deviant Hearts from Phantasma. I think I probably only listened to about maybe like 2 or 3 songs off of it. Like, I know I have never listened to this album in its entirety. Still to this day, I just haven't got around to doing so. This was a collaborative side project with, God, I can't remember his name. But he's done some songs with Imperia, and then the lead singer of Serenity, his name is escaping me at the moment, and then Charlotte the Vessels. And it's a collaborative project between all of them. Oliver Phillips, that's the guy who's worked with Imperia. It's a collaborative project between the 3 of them, and like, it's a novella that Charlotte wrote that got adapted into a full-length album. That's all I really remember. I remember the chorus to, I think, like the first single, which was a lyric video, but I can't even remember what it was called. And then I remember Let It Die, and that's it. Next up, we have another album that I know for a fact I didn't listen to in its entirety, and that is The Downfall of Humanity from Lapis Lazuli. This is a band that I actually recently reconnected with a little bit. I still haven't listened to this particular release, but I started reconnecting with their music recently. They're a symphonic power metal band, and this was their 2nd album. And I can't really remember songs in particular off this release, but I remember the production on it was a massive step up from their first album, which I think was called Lost, I think is what it was called. But it was a massive step up in terms of production, and I think it only came out but like the following year. So yeah, like, I remember the sound was much bigger with the 2 songs I listened to off this album. And next up, we have another album that I didn't listen to in its entirety. I don't even remember listening to maybe but 1 song off this album, and that is The Valiant Fire from Damnation Angels. This was a project that Pelika was part of. And they were a symphonic power metal band. I know he left the band to focus on his own solo efforts, and then they brought in a new singer. I don't even know if this band is still around anymore, honestly. I really haven't listened to them much at all in recent years. I think I listened to the title track, Bringer of Light, not too long ago, and the production on it was not good. Not good. Vocals, great. Instrumentals and the orchestrations, they need boosting and some like extra oomph to them because it was just a bit weak. But other than that, though, it was a nice little trip down memory lane listening to that particular song. But yeah, I don't remember any of the songs off of this particular album. I remember the cover art, and that I at least listened to 1 song off of it because it was like almost like 10 minutes long. I think it was like just over 9 minutes long, but that's all that I remember listening to. So yeah, we have Haven from Kamelot. I want to say this was the last album that they did with Elisa, and it's the album that Liar Liar is on. I'm pretty sure this is that release. This was around the time when I started kind of falling off of Kamelot, but I still had like a soft spot for them. I remember listening to this album in its entirety, but I don't remember it though. It wasn't very memorable for me. But for whatever reason, I still put it on here, probably because of the fact that I really enjoyed maybe like 2 or 3 singles off of it. And because of that, I put it on my rankings. Keep in mind, I think in 2016 was when I started listening to way more releases every year. So I started having to be a lot more cutthroat with my rankings. But this particular year, I was just like, I liked a few songs off of it and didn't listen to the rest of the album. So that means that it's eligible to make it onto a rankings list, whereas now it's just like I mentioned earlier, I'm much more in depth with it. Next up, we have the 7th Lifepath from Sirenia. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure if I listened to it in its entirety back then, but I know for a fact I have since listened to it in its entirety. I actually have the collector's box for this release, and I love this album. It is such a great release from them. Like, Eileen just sounds amazing on it. It's just such a great release, such a great release. So good. It's so good. Like, I want them to go, I hope like the new release that they're coming out with soon kind of goes back to this kind of vibe where it's like heavier, more like intense symphonic gothic metal instead of like the previous release being more like modern gothic metal with a symphonic twist to it. Then we have Odyssey to Reflection from Against Myself. This was a release that I was really into. There were several songs off of it that I just really clung to though, and the rest of it I don't remember. But this was a symphonic power metal band with some like proggy aspects to them. Their original frontwoman left in not the best of ways. She made it known on social medias that it was not her decision to leave the band, and like they basically fired her and brought in somebody entirely different. Granted, their new frontwoman, like, not to be mean to Irene or anything, the new frontwoman does have a bit more of a versatile voice, but Irene has a much more distinct voice. So I will give them that and everything. So Irene had a much more distinct voice than their current frontwoman does, but the current frontwoman also has a bit more versatility under her belt. So the push and pull is very intense with that whole situation. Second song on the rankings, and that is All I Am by End of the Dream. This album still slaps to this day. This is still my favorite album from them. Until You Break was good. It was a really good release, but this release was just such an amazing release. It was dark. It had such an intense production and symphonic sound to it. It had a much bigger sound to it, which is why I really love this release so much more than Until You Break. Until You Break, though, really allowed like Mickey's voice to shine because her voice grew so much in between releases. But still, this album, so good. I still go back and listen to this album. Like, it is just a stunning album from go to O. It is just absolutely brilliant and amazing, and I wonder if these guys will ever make a comeback, because after Mickey left the band, they haven't done anything since then, or at least to my knowledge, they haven't done anything since then. But yeah, such a stellar release from a great band. Let's touch on the many honorable mentions that I have here. So again, in no particular order. First up, we have To the North from Kari Rueslatten. This was a really nice release. I really enjoyed this particular release. Honestly, this should have made it onto the rankings because this was a release that I listened to in its entirety from start to finish over and over and over again. This was such a good one. This was such a good album. And it was beautiful. It was like folky. It was experimental. Just a really solid release from start to finish. Also, I really need to listen to the republishing for The Third and Immortal because they're making a comeback, it seems. So I need to check out their releases because I haven't dug deep into their stuff, but I definitely need to. Next up we have Inception from Innaria. Innaria is a band that I really do enjoy. I've known about them for a long time. A lot of the singles that they've been putting out lately have been really cool. This release, I do not remember. I do not remember this release though. Then we have Polaris from Tesseract. Again, I do not remember this release. I probably only listened to about maybe 1 or 2 songs off of it and put it on here. Because I know I listened to Inception in its entirety, I just don't remember it. Then we have Salem's Wounds from Karen Crisis' Gospel of the Witches. This is another release where I think I only listened to about maybe like 3 or 4. Okay, rude. The vibes that I got from those songs, it was just like, it's cool, but it's not really my thing. I still love and listen to Mother though. That is such a amazing song. It's so good. And a bit TMI and probably a bit chaotic of me, it's a great song to have sex to. So yeah, deal with that information as you will. Next up we have Apocalypse Moon from the Order of Chaos. I remember that I listened to this album in its entirety, but still I only enjoyed the title track of the album. That title track for that album was so good. Then we have Memories from the Future from Jaded Star. I do not remember this album. I do not remember this album. I never really got into these guys. Like, I like Maxi Nil as a vocalist, but I have never really been able to get into Jaded Star at all. I did really enjoy some of the stuff that I've heard from her works with Visions of Atlantis back in the day though. Like, oh, what was that one song called? Oh god, what was that song called? There's a song off of Delta that I really, really love that she did. Like, I know a lot of people are just now learning about Visions of Atlantis because they've been blowing up because of Pirates and everything and like Clementine's era of the band, but I've known about Visions of Atlantis for a very, very long time. Like, I learned about them back when I first started getting into like metal music back in like the late 2000s. Memento, that's the name of that song. That song, it's so beautiful. It is such a beautiful song. I need to listen to it again someday soon. Getting back, of course, next up we have Abyss from Chelsea Wolfe. I do remember listening to this album in its entirety, but I only still remember Carrion Flowers. And that's it. Because that song is just brilliant. Next up we have Coma Ecliptic by Between the Buried and Me. There's only about one particular song that I remember really enjoying off of this album and actually listening to off this album, and I can't even remember which song that is. So that should tell you something about that. Next up we have Hammer of the Witches from Cradle of Filth. That was a pretty good release. I really love Lindsay Schoolcraft's era with the band. I think like when it comes to like the modern Cradle of Filth releases, like her era is definitely my favorite. No shade to Annabelle's brief period with the band or even Zoe's extremely brief period with the band. But Lindsay's era was so good. It was so freaking good. Like, Lindsay's style of writing is just brilliant. I love her work so, so much. Also, I kind of have like a weird feeling about Cradle of Filth now ever since everything came out about like Zoe and Ashik. Like, I'm like, just, things are a bit weird right now. Let's just put it like that. We have Metamorph from Yuzen. This should have made it onto my rankings. This album slaps. It is so good from start to finish. It is gorgeous and amazing. I still listen to songs off this album today and everything. Like, I have it on like, I have like the title track on playlists. I have other songs from this album on playlists. It is amazing. I mean, and it's so sad that I know that this project will probably never come back because Maria is so caught up in the success of Heilung, but this project was so good. This album was just amazing. Like, it's like very much like alternative, like synthy, rocky. It's just such a great release. such a great release. Their music was so good. I hope that they might someday make a comeback, but I know the chances are very slim. Except we have How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful from Florence and the Machine. This was a lovely release. It had some good songs off of it, but the only song that I can think of off the top of my head off of it, though, is St. Jude. And that song was so pretty. Next up we have the debut album of Once Human, and that is The Life I Remember. This album stands out compared to their other releases, and it's so unique. Like, Lauren's voice, compared this to everything after, I'm pretty sure the title track is called The Life I Remember and everything, or at least like the song that references the title of the album. That song, compare that song to Eye of Chaos, the growth in this band and the growth of Lauren as a vocalist is insane. Absolutely insane. But I still enjoyed like several songs off of The Life I Remember. I only remember but 2 songs off of it. Then we have Signal from Hearts of Black Science. Again, another release that should have made it onto the rankings because this was such a stellar release. Like, I still listen to songs off of this, like Wolves at the Border, the title track, Protector. Like, I still reach for this release. It is such a great, like, dark wave, shoegaze, synth pop type of release. It's so good. If you like very like ambient, experimental, dreary kind of songs and everything, this is the release for you. It is so good. Then we have Eye of Providence from The Agonist. I don't really remember much off of this release. This was that period of time when they were really trying to find their footing again after Viggy Saraxis joined the band, which I'm so sad that these guys had to break up, but it's very understandable why though. But I still just love this band so dearly and everything. Maybe one day they'll make a comeback, but there's no telling. We have Eternal Embrace from The Fall of Eve. I don't remember this album at all. I only remember but 1 song of theirs, and that is Destiny. And that's it. Then we have Quiet World from Native Construct. I only remember but 1 song off of this album, but I remember really thinking that it was cool. It's very much like along those lines within the prog bands where it's like very much teetering along the lines of mathcore, where it's just like, it's very proggy, very experimental, and it changes a lot. Almost to, it's not so much like avant-garde metal. Think of like Textures and Between the Buried and Me had a baby. Then you would get Native Construct. It's that kind of vibe. Lastly, on the honorable mentions, I remember I had to give like a huge disclaimer on this because I knew I might get a lot of flack for it, but Endless Forms Most Beautiful from Nightwish. My thoughts have changed on that release over the years. It's not as lackluster as I remembered it being, but it's still not my favorite release from them. I've talked about it ad nauseum that like Nightwish are really just like a band that I'm feeling just isn't for me anymore, or at least like with the stuff that they've been putting out. Like, since Flora joined the band, the only release from them that I've enjoyed was Human Nature. I did enjoy Yestermind. I did think that it was a good release, but whenever I put on like my favorite releases of 2024 playlist, I always skip over those songs. And it's not a bad release, but I just feel as if there are decisions made on it that I just don't get. And also, again, like the whole trilogy of like Existence and Life and whatnot, it just got really old and boring. And Endless Forms Most Beautiful, like, it was a very safe release and everything. They tried some new things. They had some stuff from the old days on there, but like, I still am waiting for a day where Floor is like borderline doing stuff that she was doing with like Revamp, like stuff where you can really hear the versatility in her voice, which I've heard that her upcoming solo album that she's working on is almost going to be playing to that, because I know with a lot of her solo shows that she's been doing, she's been performing Revamp songs like Wolf and Dog. When I tell you, when I started seeing that she was performing Wolf and Dog, I lost my fucking shit, because I have such an intense love for Revamp. Like, their music was just so good. So good. Like, the only thing that I hate about Florianson joining Nightwish is the fact that Revamp had to break up. Let's leave this space and everything before I piss a lot of people off, because I know I have some very polarizing thoughts and opinions on music and whatnot. My album of the year, though, for 2015 was Tears of Silence from Amperia, and I still stand by this. This was such a brilliant and gorgeous album. I listened to it not too long ago. It still holds up to this day. It's just such a stunning release. It's heartbreaking. It's a very personal release for Helena, and it's just such a stunning album from start to finish. It's full of so much raw emotion. Not a single skip on the album. It is just a stellar release from start to finish, and full of so much raw emotion, like I mentioned before. I mean, like I said, like, they've put out some good stuff since then. I mean, like, the album that they put out last year, like, it's a good album, but it's not my favorite from them. But I will say this, the saving grace for that album, in my opinion, is The Tree of Life. That song still continues to prove that Helena's main, like, gift that she can give to us is that she puts her heart and soul into her music and puts so much emotion into it, and that song is pure proof of that. That is gonna be it for me covering my favorite releases of 2015. Now, I don't know what other releases I checked out that year were. These were all that I could find on it through, like, me digging through stuff over the years. Some of my decision choices I definitely do not agree with. There were definitely some releases that made it onto my rankings that definitely should not have been there. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't make it onto the rankings at all. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to see me do this on other years, let me know in the comments below. Because like I said, my lists after 2015 are way more in depth, are way more conclusive and everything. So yeah, there's a lot more good stuff in them after 2015. So like 2016 and up. There's a lot more stuff going on with them. I think 2017 was the year that I went a little too far. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more videos like this with traveling down memory lane, and I'll be sure to do them. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Hope you guys have a good one, and until I see you guys in my next video, whenever that may be, because we clearly do not know ever when that might be. Goodbye.